You are hopping on, say hello. If you're catching the replay, hashtag it replay. Tell me where you're watching from. I'm so excited. It's been a minute since I have been live, so let me just share this broadcast out. Let's see, we're going to share into the group. And if you guys could all give it a like and a share, and just help me spread the message. We are, let me see if I can get this right. Here we go. All right, this is the energy update for this week, the week of September 20th, 2021. We are currently in a Pisces full moon. I'm sure everybody is feeling this moon. This is actually very intense for me because I am a Pisces moon. I am I don't even know. I have like 90% of my chart is water. So this is a very intuitive moon. So we're going to start with talking about the moon. But for those who are finding me for the first time, who are new to me, I am Johanna Burkhardt. I am a multidimensional channel, teacher, and healer. And I am really here to help you go from where you are to where you want to be and help you start to create the reality that you are desiring. Because that's what we all want, right? We all want to feel the freedom. We all want to feel that we have the ability, that we are empowered, that we can do something with our life, that we are not a victim to our circumstances or our reality. So there's a lot of information that wants to come through for this energy update. And so I just want to have us just take a minute and make sure your feet are planted firmly on the ground, wherever you are, and just take a breath. And breathe out. And 2 more times, breathing in and out. And 1 last time, breathing in and out. Just allowing for this information to move through you and allowing whatever resonates to remain and what doesn't to just keep on flowing through. Because this information may come back around down the line and you may hear it in a different way, or from me in a different way, or from another teacher in a different way. And it may hit right when you need it. So what I say today may not resonate for everybody, and just know that that's okay. It's just not for you at this time or at all. So also know that if you are watching this after this week, there's a reason why you were called to it. Hey, Tanya. There's a reason why you were called to it. Don't pay attention to the date. Just know that somewhere in this message, there is something for you, something for you to hear, something that's going to activate something for you, because that's what an activation is. It's just someone shining light on something that already exists. So as we start this energy update, we're going to begin with the full moon energy, since it is at its peak today. At 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will reach 100% fullness of this Pisces full moon. It is also known as the harvest moon. And that is a lot of what this energy is about. It's about harvesting. It's not so much about manifesting, right? It's about realizing that in which has already been manifested. It is collecting all of the fruit off the trees that you've planted that have been growing for so long. And I know for me, I shared on my Facebook and Instagram today what I realized that I was harvesting, right? That something that I have been asking the universe for all year long, and actually even last year, I had the realization, like it literally hit me in the face yesterday, like straight in the head, like, hello, what you've been asking for, you already have. But you weren't appreciating the fruit that was growing on your tree. You weren't picking it and enjoying it and savoring it and every bite of it. You were like, yeah, and just tossing it aside. You weren't appreciating it. I wasn't appreciating it. I wasn't seeing what I had asked for was already there and had been there actually for quite some time. But sometimes it comes in ways that we weren't expecting. It's dressed up in a way that maybe wasn't how we exactly asked for it to come, right? We had expectations about how we wanted it to arrive, what it was supposed to look like, how it was supposed to come. So it's a really good opportunity today to reflect back on what is currently going on in your life. What are you experiencing? Is that a theme? Have you been experiencing that over this year? Have you been experiencing that over the last few months or weeks? What is going right in your life? Just really take an honest look. Look at your life as if you're looking at it for the first time, through curious eyes, through an outsider's eyes. What do they notice about your life that maybe you're not noticing? What is something that you may not be appreciating or receiving from yourself? Because what this energy is doing for us, and we will feel this energy for the next couple of days, right? The full moon is always 3 days before, 3 days after. It's going to bring forth opportunities, possibilities. It's going to bring forth awarenesses to contemplate, to break you free of whatever you think is standing in your way. It's going to come to break you free. It broke me free. It's going to give you the potential to reprogram something, to break a family cycle, a pattern that maybe you put yourself in, to really allow for you to see and appreciate whatever's being presented to you or whatever awareness you're having. And for me, what I realized is I'd had what I had been asking for most of this year. But I hadn't been appreciating it because it didn't come in the way that I had asked it to. It didn't come wearing what I'd asked it to wear. It didn't come driving the car that I asked it to drive. Because that's not our job. Our job is not to tell it how to come, when to come, and how it's going to look. Our job is to be open. It's to be open. It's to stay curious. It's to say, this is what I would like, however it's meant to come. If it's in my highest and best and it's meant for me, it will come to me. It will find a way. And it will come in the way that I need it at this time. Maybe 2 months from now, it's going to come another way because you need it to show up a different way. But a big theme this week is there's going to be people coming to you, whether that's new relationships, new friendships, new teachers, new programs, new books, new animals, whatever. There's going to be something new coming your way, new realizations. And it's going to be standing right in front of you. And you're going to see it. You're going to be aware of it. It's just going to be a matter of, are you going to have the courage to act on it, to receive it, to appreciate it, to do something with it? Because another really big theme this week is going to be a lot of people are going to see what's standing between where they are and the very thing that they've been desiring. And that is the law of attraction, right? The law of mirroring. It's the universe is going to show you your own internal state of being. Something that I channeled Nikola Tesla in my Portal Potential membership. And that was one thing that he reiterated over and over again, is the quickest way is to show you actually what's standing in your way. It's to show you what's standing in your way. If what you want is this, you have to go through. The fastest way is through. So you're going to hit up against that lack, limitation, belief, that obstacle, that very thing that you think you can't have. And it's what that's showing you is that's the belief. That is the thing that you believe is standing in front of you, because your state of being is what will be. It's the subconscious undercurrent. And sometimes it's unconscious, but it's the undercurrent That is what speaks to the universe, your state of being. 369, 3 is your state of being. 6 is the action, it's the energy, it's the thoughts you think, the words you speak, the actions you take. And that creates the 9, which is the vibration that brings it right back around and influences your state of being. So when that obstacle shows up, when that belief shows up, when that lack or limitation shows up, it's a gift. It doesn't feel like a gift. I'm well aware of that. But it's a damn gift. We can be like, oh my God, I'm so grateful for this lack, this limitation, this belief that I'm not enough. Big theme for us in September, not enough. That I'm not enough, that I'm not worthy. Who am I? Thank you for showing me that once again, because now I get to choose. Is that my truth or is that somebody else's truth that I'm allowing to replace mine? Is that the perpetrators and programmers of my life that I'm hearing? And I get to choose and discern if that's something that I want to believe, or do I want to be the parent that I never had and say, no, baby, that is not your truth. Don't believe that. Are you listening to yourself? Are you receiving from yourself? Are you setting the standard of what you will accept in this life? Some of you will feel blocked. You will feel like the world stage is stopping you, right? And for some of you, that is actually what's happening. There are some people in Australia that literally are tied. Their hands are tied. But what they're doing is something even greater because they are standing in what they believe. They're saying, I will be patient. I will find my freedom. I will find my abundance. I will find my sovereignty in other ways. Because I know that right now we are voting every day. Every day. And I've talked about this over the last, 4 months, 3 months, 4 months, of how the base frequency of the planet is rising very quickly. And by base, I mean this isn't influxes of light from the Schumann resonance. This is from coming in that are affecting the Schumann resonance. This isn't just plasma coming in or gamma rays coming in. This is different. This is the planet, Gaia Sophia, moving into a new frequency. And as she evolves, she hits a new base, a new point of integration where we don't go back. Integration means you have released the judgment. There is no more judgment. You are at peace. You are back in that 0 point. You are at the 0. So every time we hit a new base frequency, this is the integration point for Gaia, which changes our base frequency if we allow it to. You guys can put your questions in. I will check them at the end. Or your comments. So as we go through these big new frequencies, and right now we are, and this week is a point of integration for us. Because as we integrate, right, we have made space. When we've integrated, we have made space. And now the light is so much brighter. And so the clarity or the potentials or the people or the possibilities are like, oh, shit, this was standing here this whole time. I didn't see you. Whoa, sorry. The point of integration, when we have made the space, we have the massive realization, or we allow for the massive space for that harvesting to happen, for that potential, for that person, for that realization, whatever it is for you. It's not going to be the same for each person. We're all different a little bit. So this week we are at a point of integration. So we're going to see either what's blocking us or what's right there where we can grab and be like, yes, I knew this apple was here the whole time, but I wasn't enjoying it. I was abusing it or wasting it. Let me stop what I'm doing, sit my butt down and take a bite and chew it slowly and savor it and allow myself to freaking digest it. Something you will learn about in my book, by the way, the digestion cycle, the emotional digestion cycle. So we are this week at a point of integration. which means that we can feel a lot of things happening inside of our body too, because integration is where it becomes one with the body. Ascension, right? Ascension is the body going from carbon to crystalline. So we're going to feel the physical alchemy happening in our bodies. So listen to your body. Rest. Drink water. Take minerals. Take vitamins. Eat whole foods. Be in nature. Be in the sun. Whatever it is for you, listen to your body. Receive from yourself. Receive from others. For those of you, just like I said before, some are going to feel blocked. Some of you are going to literally have your hands tied like people in Australia. And for others, those ties are about to come undone. The ties that have been binding you are about to break free. So whether it's a belief that you believe is standing in your way, whether it's a person or a job or a contract or something that you think you're waiting for, or if it's actually something that's binding you, like, again, like the people who are in Australia right now. And for those who watch this, just sending you massive love and courage to continue to hold your space and your sovereignty. You have to discern the difference. Do I believe this is something blocking me, or is there actually something blocking me that I don't have a whole lot of control over? You got to discern the difference. Because coming back to where I went with this is, we are voting many times a day as a collective. And something that I talk about a lot, right, is being the change. And so this weekend I went and saw Teal Swan. I flew to New York and I went and saw Teal Swan. And, we talked a lot about the world events. And what she said is exactly confirmation for what I've been getting. And that is, I had been asking my guides, how are we voting? There's a few teachers out there that are talking about the fact that we are all voting collectively for how fast or slow we go, for what we want to see in the world and what we don't. But my question was, and all teachers seem to have different theories, but my question to my guides was, how are we voting? How is this happening? Is it just the soul voting and we have no conscious contribution to it? Or are we actually conscious of this? Because there's some teachers that are saying that the soul is just voting and that's it, and that we don't really have a conscious contribution. Please don't confuse consciousness and intelligence, very different. Consciousness is knowing in your heart space. It's not from a space of fear. It's not from a place of logic either. Consciousness is from a centered space. It's from a space of awareness where you can see 360, when you can see all sides of things. I asked, and what I got was, we are choosing. Our vote is based upon the thoughts that we accept, right? Because we think, 70,000 thoughts a day. And remember what Metatron always says, which is thoughts are just theories. What you attach to becomes true. So what thoughts are you attaching to? That is a vote. What words are you speaking? Even when nobody's listening, that is a vote. What actions are you taking? That is a vote. And I don't care what side of the fence you're on. I don't care. This is not what this is about. You want to have more masks? Wear masks. That's your vote for wearing masks. You don't want to wear them? Don't wear them. Because when you wear them, when you don't want to wear them, that's inner conflict. That's you doing something that's violating your own boundary. So if there's something going on in the world stage that you don't vote for, that's not something you want, then don't comply. And yes, it's going to suck. And you may have to pick and choose when you comply and when you don't, and that's okay too. You got to listen to your heart. Make your decision from a place of neutrality, what's aligned to you, not from fear. Don't make your choice from fear. Otherwise, they're winning. That's them winning. That's their point. Every thought you attach to, every word you speak, every action you take is your vote, not just for your own personal reality, which it is. That is very important for you guys to hear right now. It is your vote for your personal reality. And I've had to check myself so many damn times because I've had the wound of not enough coming up big time for me. I'm getting ready to publish my book, which is me speaking my truth in a way that I have never spoken it before. It's going to piss a lot of people off in my family. I'm doing things, traveling and going places. It's brought up my not enough wound, right? Because I am living my life the way that I want to live it. And that part of me, that child that was told who was always wrong and she was nobody and she wasn't important, that inner child is saying, but who are we? And it's my job to say, I'm effing Johanna Burkhardt. That's who I am. And I am effing worthy of anything that I am desiring. If it makes me feel good, if it makes me feel at peace, if it aligns to me, then that is what is for me. No matter what anybody else thinks. I had to replace my inner parents who were my inner perpetrators. I had to learn to reparent myself. And so sometimes I forget, right? We're all human. It doesn't matter how far advanced you are on the spiral of ascension, right? We're never healed. We just learn the tools to navigate it quickly and to bring ourselves back into neutrality. So I have to check myself just as much as anybody else and change those thoughts and be like, you can keep on trucking because that is not a thought I'm going to keep. And I had to learn to stop speaking it. I have to remind myself not to speak that out loud because it isn't my truth. It's someone else's truth. And I had to learn to take the actions that align, that go towards my desires, not take actions that go towards the limiting beliefs. So be conscious of the vote you're casting for your own reality, but also remembering that that vote doesn't just affect you. It affects your children. It affects all of us. When we be the change, we are shining our light, and the brighter our light gets, the more people will see the truth, whatever that is. The illusion will be broken simply by us being the change, not by screaming and preaching. And let me tell you, this is a battle that I have been struggling with, and I'm just going to be honest because I know I'm not alone. I have my moments where I post on my personal profile wanting people to wake up and showing them and telling them, this is what's happening. Can't you see it? And then I have to pull it back and be like, no, my job isn't to prove to everyone else what's wrong with this world. It's not. My job is to show them what's fucking right. To show them what's right. To show them how to do it. Teal Swan said something that I'm going to share, and she said, whatever the problem is, you have to become the antidote. And I couldn't agree more, because that is exactly what being the change is. And so for me, the problem with this world is fear. So that means I have to be extra understanding. I have to be understanding on crack cocaine. And I'm not perfect with that. But every day I adjust myself. I take responsibility for my actions when I mess up. And I keep going. I don't beat myself up. I just keep going. Sometimes I beat myself up, but then I have to realign, right? So we just have to keep changing that dial. We have to keep managing our frequency. That's your only job, is to manage your frequency. That's it. So remember that the next time that you do something that you don't want to do, You're casting a vote for that to continue. And every time you have the courage to stand in your sovereignty, and you have the courage to do what you believe is the right thing, whatever that may be, you are voting for more courage. You are voting for more understanding. And then when you slip, because you will, because we all have egos, and we all get emotionally charged at times, we all get pulled out of the present, you take responsibility, you adjust your frequency, and you keep effing moving. This is why my purification process that I teach in almost every course at this point, and will be in my book and all of these things, helps you to do that. It's been my lifesaver to bring me back into alignment. Not only that, but to alchemize whatever that obstacle is. It's why I've been able to transcend and advance myself so fast in this journey. So whatever this energy ends up translating for you personally, right? Because this is an overview. However this shows up for you, this is either going to create insurmountable stability inside of you where you're going to know without a shadow of a doubt who you are and what you stand for, and create the boundary of the standard of who you are and what you will accept and allow into your life, and just make you feel secure and stable that whatever comes your way and stands in front of you, you will be able to figure it out. You will be able to navigate it. It doesn't mean it will be easy. It doesn't mean that it will be not alarming or triggering. It means that you have the trust in yourself that you will be able to handle it. And for others, this is going to create massive instability, because what it's showing you is so much of the subconscious or unconscious that you hadn't been willing to see, that now is like you have no choice but to look at it. There's no more hiding it. Because the one thing that most people are not realizing right now, and something that I've been talking about for the last 2 updates, was the amount of communication manipulation that's going on in the world by whoever is controlling this show and trying to manipulate us. There is communication manipulation, and I don't mean through just our internet. There are multiple ways in which they are doing it, where they are literally infiltrating the telepathic airways. And I know that can be scary for some of you to hear. But what they're doing is gaslighting. They are gaslighting us. And this is why I've been saying for the last 2 years, right? 2020, I said this was the year for you to know who the F you are, your stability, your boundaries. Who are you? What will you tolerate? What is your standard? In 21, I said this is the time of reclamation. For you coming into synergy, getting all the parts and pieces of you on the same bus, going in the same damn direction, even if they are not agreeing with the route that you are taking. They trust you enough. This is about building trust inside of yourself, building a bridge of trust between the different parts of you that have been fragmented. So when you see all of that subconsciousness that's being shown to you, because you won't be able to hide it anymore, you guys, especially those of you who are listening to me. There's nowhere more hiding that undercurrent. It's going to be shown to you. It's your choice what you do with it. You can be a victim of it, and you can have your tantrum, and you can be upset with what's shown up, or you can be grateful for what's shown up. And you can say, okay, this sucks, but I'm going to accept what is. I don't agree with this, so I'm going to do something different now. I'm going to change the route. I'm going to change my pattern. I'm going to change my behavior. I'm going to change my standard. Acceptance is not agreement. Accept what is in front of you. Accept what is happening in this world. Choose different if you don't agree with it. Choose different. Change you, because that's the only thing we can control. It is not our responsibility to save the world. It's our responsibility to learn that we are here to save ourselves. And in doing so, we show another how to do that for them. And for those who don't know what gaslighting is when you hear something or see something and then someone else tries to tell you that that's not what you saw or heard. And we've seen that on the world stage by these people over and over again. And there are going to be more than just those people. You're going to have friends and family members who are going to gaslight you as well. Try to convince you that what you read and researched, what you believe, what you know, what you're receiving divinely, because I know I speak to a lot of intuitives on here, teachers and healers in their own right, trying to convince you that what you know is not true. They are trying to convince you to replace your truth with their truth. This is a time for you guys all to stand in what you know to be true and not let anything rock you. You're not going to be perfect with that either, but that takes presence and acceptance. And sometimes that other person who's trying to convince you, that is what they believe. So that is their truth, because they are seeing through the lens of their own wounds. They're seeing through fear. They're seeing through density. Maybe you've done a little bit more work to clean that window, that lens, and so you see things a lot clearer. Your truth is different than theirs. It doesn't mean you have to replace your truth or they have to replace their truth. It means you be, okay, that's where they are. This is where I am. I'm going to choose this. You choose that piece. It's not always easy to do. All right, before I talk for too much longer, let me reflect back and see what questions and comments. And if you guys, please share, like, subscribe. Kelly Hansen, resonating deeply, chills. Awesome. Hi, Salim. Yes, that's why Kelly says we must evolve as well. That's why my whole thing is about the soul evolution. You know, so when I'm talking to my girlfriend, I always say, as the soul turns, you know, because it is. It's not about the world turning anymore. It's about our soul turning. It's about us evolving. If we don't evolve, the world's not going to evolve. So within, so without. The world is, in all caps, a reflection of our collective state of being. Not everyone likes to hear that, but that is what is. So Mystic Havens, she says, this may be off topic, but how do you feel about prepping during these times, water, food, etc.? That's a great question. So you need to ask yourself, why do you want to do those things? Is it because you have this intuitive knowing in your heart that maybe you should have a couple of weeks worth of food and water? Or are you doing it because you feel fear inside of you? And that fear is saying, you better be prepared. That fear is saying, because fear is false evidence appearing real. Because when it's real, it's danger, right? It's there. But fear is false evidence appearing real. So if you have intuitive guidance, or your heart is saying from a very neutral place that, you know what, it might not be a bad idea to have some bags of rice and bags of beans and a couple cases of water on hand just in case of emergency. I mean, I have that because I have hurricanes and we lose power. So it's up to you. But again, you have to make sure that that's not coming from a place of fear. It's coming from a place of intuition. Your soul speaking to you. That's my stance on it. Matt says, I am free. Yes, I have felt it dissolving. Can't wait to see. Oh, you can't wait to go see her. Yeah, I love Teal Swan. I've never read her books. Just so happened, I resonate with the way that she teaches. That's actually how I do my events as well. For anybody who's ever watched her live events, I do my events very similar to me. My events are called synergy workshops. Hers are called synchronization workshops. So we have a very similar style. That's why I was drawn to her. And I just had this urge to go and see her. And I originally thought it was because I'm getting ready to do events, to go back out on the road. And I know my events are going to get bigger than 20 people, right? I don't know if I'll be at her level immediately, but I know that I'm going to be doing bigger events. And so I wanted to investigate how she did her events. That's what I do. I investigate things and see what I like about it and what I don't like about it. And instead, I did get that. But what I also got was confirmation and reminders and new ways of hearing things that I already knew in a different way that just made it enough to where it made that dial super clear. So I'm very grateful that I listened to that and hopped on a plane and went. Nowadays, I have been triggered very frequently by different people. Is there any particular reason for that? How to heal myself? That's not something I could go over on this broadcast. I have tons, you're on YouTube, so I have tons and tons, you guys, of free trainings and videos and transmissions and energy healing, DNA activating meditations. I have so many resources, paid and free. So utilize them. Why you're triggered so frequently by different people, because again, we can't hide that undercurrent anymore. We can't hide that subconscious undercurrent. We can't hide what we have been trying to repress or deny or avoid anymore. It's going to find a way. When you aren't willing to look at something, the universe has no choice but to put it in your face through external circumstances. So when you won't listen and look at yourself and take responsibility for what's happening inside of you, the universe will put a person, a place, a thing in your path and mirror it back to you and say, if you won't look at it yourself, we'll put it in front of you. So they're messengers. Sometimes it's brutal, I know. But take a breath, feel it in your body, work through it. Even if you, there's so many options. You could join my membership. You can wait for my book to come out. You can just listen to all my YouTube videos and binge it. You will hear the answer to how to heal yourself. I'm voting for world peace. Yes, that means you got to be in peace inside of you, my friend. It means you got to come into peace with you. Leg pain. Yeah, listening to your body. Do you know what leg pain is? What do your legs represent? Flexibility, forward motion, your ability to go places. If you have leg pain, what is that pain telling you? Learning to read your body, learning to understand what it means to you, building your internal dictionary, very important. Courage to stand in your sovereignty. Hi, Vicki. Hi, Tammy. Mystic says, no fear, preparing from a place of empowerment, then prepare. If it's from a place of empowerment, then prepare. Queen Luna, deep reflection of my recent past. Thank you. Looking deeper into healing some anger that's come up. Yes. Actually, I'm going to be sharing tomorrow in my Portal Potential membership. I'm going to go in deep into the realization that I had yesterday and actually for the whole weekend, because it's very much tied to resentment and anger and the gift that brought me. So I'm really going to be, that's what the portal, for those of you who don't know what the Portal Potential is. I do monthly Q&As in there as well for people who have personal questions, but it's really a space for me to share when I'm going through the thick of it, what I'm going through and how I navigated it. You guys literally kind of get video blogs of me in my raw form. And I share stuff that I don't share publicly for good reason. So there's that. Exactly what you just said. That's what I did, right? I had deep reflection yesterday and I was able to really break some chains and have some really good new teachings come forth. Vicky says, I don't see you being like Teal, but I'll look closer. No, I'm not like Teal in that way. We have a similar style in how we do our workshops. That's why. That's what I meant, Vicky. We have when I have done synergy workshops this year virtually, and those were what I was going to do in public. We have a similar style of how we hold our events. So let me see if we have anything on TikTok. Hello, everyone. I'm not doing readings on here, guys. When I'll do readings, you'll know I'll say it's readings. I need to do a makeup tutorial. You're sweet, thank you. What's the most embarrassing thing I've ever done? It's an interesting question. I don't know. I feel like I'm so stuck in life and I don't know where to turn. You really have to, when you feel stuck, that's what it is. It's about discerning. Is the stuckness a belief in your head? Is the stuckness a belief in your head? Is it something that has been programmed, right? Is that something your parents did? Like, just an example, you guys, is I always, in my relationships, and I can freely admit this, in my marriages and stuff, I always pointed out what they were doing wrong. I was always pointing out what they were doing wrong. Even with my kids, I would point out what they're doing wrong and try to correct it. But you don't want to know why? That's because I was programmed that way. My parents were always telling me what I was doing wrong. Actually, it wasn't my parents. It was my step-parent and my abuser. But she was always telling me what was wrong with me. She never, ever said anything was right with me. And so I spent my life only seeing the negative and only seeing what's wrong. So you got to discern. And if you're struggling with discernment, that's when you need to buy books, listen to some of my past trainings, get a course, whatever you feel like you need to do to learn how to discern energy. Discern energy. Is this mine or is this someone else's? It's actually what we're doing right now in the energy matrix, but I've done it in many different ways. So even if it's not from me, find a way to learn discernment, to discern. And if you're stuck, a lot of times you're stuck because you also don't, you're more afraid of having that in what you're desiring. You stay in a state of limbo because it's safer. It's safer to stay stuck than it is to actually take the step forward towards your desire. Remember I said you got to walk towards your desire, not away from it. And another thing is you might have too many choices, right? You limit it down to 2 choices. I had a breakdown yesterday. I started bawling my eyes out, but over not being happy doing warehouse work. I'm glad you cried. I allowed you break down. You got to have a breakdown sometimes before you can have a breakthrough. Yeah, you're not the only one. She says, I want to get into spiritual work, but I've struggled with lack mindset when it comes to money. Then you have to focus first on your lack. And it really doesn't start with money. The lack is really about your worth. It's about who are you, and are you enough? Are you worthy? Are you doing enough? There's so much to unpack there. Thank you guys for all of the roses and for talking about my makeup. I appreciate that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we've been on for about 44 minutes. I hope that this update really helps prepare you for this week and for what's to come, because everything that I share, you guys, is just building. We're just building on it. We're just building on it. And I have felt for a while now that towards the end of October, beginning of November, somewhere in that window, give or take, we're gonna have some intense moments. We're gonna have some intense realizations. We're gonna have some intense shifts and intense opportunities to make very courageous choices. So I have been feeling for a very long time the end of October, beginning of November, and then the other one that I feel is there's 2 more. So there's going to be another one between, I really feel like it's more of the beginning of December, and then the end of December going into January. So there's a couple more big shifts, big ahas that are going to happen. And that shift could be clarity. It could be revealing. It could be personal shifts that happen inside of our own frequencies collectively. It doesn't necessarily mean that something huge is going to happen on the world stage, okay? A lot of times the things that we feel, we don't actually see play out because it's happening behind the scenes because of censorship. So know if you are intuitive, if you are, thank you for the donation. If you are intuitive, if you are someone who receives this information and you're like, damn, I feel like this is happening or something's going to happen. And then you're looking outside for validation and it doesn't, remember that there's a lot of distractions happening. Again, communication, manipulation in multiple ways. They don't want you to see what's really happening. So don't look to the world stage for validation. Know your truth. Know your truth. Don't let anything else replace that, okay? Don't. And if you do, brush it off and be like, ooh, okay, I got to learn from this and go start moving again. And if you feel alone and you feel lonely, find community. Whether that's through a Facebook group, a paid membership, a church community, whatever, yoga community, whatever it is, online or in person, find people that you can reach out to on the days where you're struggling to manage your frequency. Because I know it can be depressing. I know it can feel heavy. But sometimes it feels heavy because we believe that the world is our responsibility when it's not. We are our own responsibility. So thank you guys for joining. And I will see you next time.